Hey guys, welcome to Pages with Sidra. Today we are going to start chapter 570, one of I have 90 billion licking gold coins. If you haven't watched the previous chapters, make sure to check them out on my channel. Now, without any delay, let's dive into the chapter. The air was quiet. Suddenly, the medicine ancestor stepped forward, walked up to Qin Yuan, and bowed deeply. "Senior," he said with sincere respect. "Before, I was blind and ignorant. I offended you without knowing your true identity. Only now do I understand. You were merciful and generous all along, never lowering yourself to hold grudges against someone like me. As the 19th generation disciple of Medicine King Valley, I, Xiantian, thank you for sparing my life." His eyes carried genuine awe. Qin Yuan stood with one hand behind his back, the other holding a lamb skewer. He looked relaxed, composed, as if nothing could disturb his calm. "Forget the past," Qin Yuan said casually. "I never took it to heart." That simple response stunned Xiantian. "Senior, I finally understand now. You never meant any harm. Back then, when you injured me, took Qin away, and forced me to face deadly challenges, all of it was a test. You pushed me into desperation to awaken my potential. And because of that, I broke through to the 5th rank." He paused, eyes full of admiration. "I didn't understand before. I thought you were toying with me. But now I realize it was all to help me break my limits." Qin Yuan stared blankly for a second. What the heck? This guy really just made all that up? You've got one wild imagination, Qin Yuan thought. But in the end, he just smirked and said calmly, "As long as you understand. If Xiantian wanted to believe that, so be it." The old man looked moved beyond words. "You've truly been planning this for my benefit. I feel so ashamed for misunderstanding you for so long. Without your guidance, I may not have lived much longer. But now, I've broken through to the 5th rank and extended my life by 100 years. Not only did you help me, but you also gave Cheat and such a powerful opportunity. For this kindness, I, Xiantian, would like to stay at the Qin family manor and serve you faithfully for 10 years as my way of repaying this life-saving grace." And with that, the medicine ancestor dropped to one knee. Everyone watching was stunned. This old man clearly wasn't ordinary. He carried the presence of a grandmaster, a man who had already displayed impressive strength. But now, he was kneeling, calling Qin Yuan, who looked barely in his 20s, senior. It felt surreal. Several of the girls present had known Qin Yuan for over a year. But to this day, none of them could truly say they understood him. He was always wrapped in mystery. Just when you thought you knew who he was, you discover you'd only seen a fraction of the real him. But the medicine ancestor knew the truth. This young-looking man might actually be far older than him. A being with monstrous strength and mastery over music, medicine, martial arts, painting, business, acting, languages, technology, almost everything. Only someone who had lived for hundreds, maybe even thousands, of years could have achieved this level of perfection in so many fields. And even more terrifying, he hadn't aged at all. Tina Morgan, for example, stayed young through genetic mutation. She was a unique life form who could maintain the appearance of a 20-year-old. But even she knew, if she didn't keep evolving, she only had a few decades left to live. Her body had already started deteriorating. She just didn't show it yet, because no life form could ever escape the grip of time. Not one. Even the strongest beings would eventually return to dust. Breaking the genetic limit could extend life, but not grant immortality. The path of power was a race against time. You run ahead. Time chases you. And when time catches up, it's over. Tina shot a glance at the medicine ancestor and rolled her eyes. This sneaky old fox. Guard the manor for 10 years? Please. You're just trying to stay here and learn from the senior. Who are you fooling? But Qin Yuan chuckled lightly and waved to Amy, the housekeeper. "Amy, see if there's any position in the manor that suits him." Amy stepped forward and reported, "Sir, the security department manager position is already filled. Removing him might cause issues. But there is one vacancy left in the sanitation department. Shall we assign him there?" She glanced at the medicine ancestor. "I'll take it," Xiantian said seriously. He believed this was another test from the senior. Besides, he used to sweep floors in his younger days. Returning to his roots wouldn't hurt. Qin Yuan frowned slightly. "A grandmaster like you, doing cleaning work? Isn't that a bit of a waste?" But the old man shook his head. "I'm completely satisfied with this position. I have no complaints. Please allow me to stay." His eyes burned with determination. Qin Yuan finally nodded. "All right then. What a remarkable master. He was willing to humble himself just to stay close and protect his grand disciple. The barbecue wrapped up. The sun dipped below the horizon. Meanwhile, across the ocean, in the depths of the Grand Canyon, a secret base had been carved into the earth. Scientists from around the world bustled inside. Here, they were developing the latest in weapons technology. And more importantly, they were mass-producing strange green biological serums, super soldier blood serums, and countless elite soldiers had already been brought inside for the next stage of experimentation. The Super Soldier Project had finally begun. The first wave of volunteers, over 10,000 of them, stood ready. Some were as young as 10, eyes full of dreams and hope. This program wasn't something new. In fact, it had been conceived 30 years ago, led by the mysterious Skull Society, and trillions of dollars invested. Gathering the brightest minds across the globe, they finally made some progress. But in the beginning, this wasn't about super soldiers at all. No, it started with a single goal: to delay aging. Scientists had been researching how to extend the human lifespan, specifically focusing on telomeres, the protective caps at the ends of chromosomes. These telomeres get shorter every time a cell divides. And when they shrink too much, cells stop dividing. That's when aging begins. And eventually, death. So what if you could extend the length of telomeres? Would that slow down aging? Maybe. Even achieve immortality? After all, turtles live incredibly long lives, partly because their telomeres are unusually long. Based on this idea, the Skull Society launched a secret project, injecting telomerase enzymes into the human body, hoping to extend cellular division. But it didn't go as planned. Tampering with cell division triggered chaotic mutations. Many cells lost control and turned cancerous. Yet in the process, they stumbled upon something unexpected. They created a new type of being, a genetically awakened superhuman. These new humans didn't live longer, but they gained power. They became faster, stronger, tougher. Their wounds healed in seconds. They could learn and react at superhuman speeds. It was like unlocking the primal instincts of a beast. But there was a dark price. Their telomeres burned out even faster, causing their bodies to die sooner. No warning, no symptoms. They simply dropped dead. And so, the first version of the Super Soldier Project was declared a failure. For the elite, it was useless. What good is being powerful if you die faster? They wanted to live, not die in battle. Still, the project didn't stop. They repurposed it. Now the logic was simple. Let the commoners take the risk. The poor, the desperate, they'd jump at the chance to become powerful, even if it was short-lived. And once they burned out and died, well, they'd just be replaced. Of course, the project still needed a noble excuse. To serve humanity. To advance science. To create a better future. But behind the scenes, another secret research path had begun. This one focused on ancient alien relics, or perhaps the remains of a forgotten civilization. Within one such fragment, found in a meteorite or perhaps an ancient crash site, were traces of life evolution tech. It was a different approach to evolution. Organic, natural, and far more stable. Rather than force change through violence, it let life adapt and evolve, slowly extending telomeres and unlocking hidden potential. But even that had its flaws. When artificial energy was forced into a body to break its genetic chains, most people died on the spot. The success rate? Less than 0.1%. Both paths were riddled with problems. But Skull Society's chairman Edward, he was running out of time. He could feel death approaching, within 10 years at most. He refused to die without finishing what he started. His dream? To unite the world. And crown himself Lord of Earth. Meanwhile, back in the Qin family manor, Qin Yuan had been lying low for a month. No traveling, no flashy moves. By day, he gamed with his tiger cub at his side, while Wang Kai, his intelligent assistant AI, pretended to be him in chat groups, texting and flirting with all his love interests to maintain relationships. But at night, while the world slept, Qin Yuan would sneak out to the wilderness to practice flying. Not with wings, not with machines, but with his shoes. He used mental power to control the shoes beneath his feet, making them hover, rise, and fly. If he could control the shoes, he could make himself fly with them. It was simple in theory, but it took a full month of painful practice. Now, he could fly for 30 minutes straight, though not without cost. He'd crashed headfirst into the ground dozens of times. One time, from over 1,000 meters up, he almost died. But thanks to his reinforcement points, he instantly healed. Tonight, as he flew through the night sky, a nearby airplane passed by. Meanwhile, back in the wild, Chen Yuan checked his stats. Name, Chen Yuan. Age, 22. Height, 185 centimeters. Weight, 83 kilograms. Attributes: Strength, 420. Constitution, 550. Spirit, 500. Agility, 420. Average human stat, 10. Condition, totally OP. Remaining lifespan, 180 years. Fire resistance, 70. 100 plus points equals total fire immunity and fire manipulation. Remaining reinforcement points, 95. That's it for today's chapter recap. If you enjoyed the breakdown, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to stay updated with the latest manga, manhwa, and manhwa recaps. Got thoughts on today's chapter? Drop them in the comments. I'd love to hear your take on the story. Also, if you know other fans who were reading this manhwa but stopped because it got axed, share this video with them. The more support we get, the more motivation we'll have to keep making these videos. See you in the next one. Until then, keep turning the pages.